Right. Welcome everyone. Today our webinar is on connecting research software to the scholarly record with DataCite. Let me share the agenda in the chat. Yeah. Uh, so everyone can go through the agenda to see what's the plan for today. So if you are a professional working with data or research or software, do you face issues in making your research software and code properly cited or discoverable and connected to your papers and data sets? So with data sets open persistent identifiers infrastructure, that is open page infrastructure and rich metadata, we can assign DOIs, link our research outputs, as well as boost their long-term visibility with such a linking. So, are you ready to make your work easier to find and easier to credit? So, in this webinar today, we bring to you a session on connecting research software to the scholarly record with DataCite. Our guest for the session is Mohammad Mustafa, who is a community specialist at DataCite. I am Jyoti Bhogal, who would be hosting you, and I'm the co-founder of RSC Asia Association. And now I hand it to Saranjeet to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm Saranjeet. I'm the other co-founder of RSC Asia, and we are very happy to have Mohammed with us to talk about persistent identifiers and learn more about how we can cite different kinds of outputs from our research and what's the most efficient way to do so. So, with that, I would like to invite Mohammed to the stage to introduce themselves and tell us more about their topic today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jyoti, and thank you so much also, Sanjarit, for inviting me and RIS Asia, of course. I am Muhammad Mustafa. I am part of the global community and services team at DataCite, and I work with institutions who wants to know more about DataCite, our global community and services. And yeah, I'm really happy to be here with you today and to talk about also supporting research software and code. Looking forward to the discussion as well. Yeah.
Okay. So thanks, Mohammed. Before we begin the slides for today, I'd like to ask the audience to introduce themselves in the chat. So, what's your name and where are you joining from? And yeah, there you go. We can also you can also add your information in the icebreaker section in our agenda document, which is here. All right, so we have a PhD researcher from India. Let me give some more about information about what we are up to at RSC Asia. So today we would have slides first from Mohammed, and we also have some Q&A already from people who registered uh, during they registered, and also we would welcome more Q&A from the audience who have joined live. And we would take the Q&A at the end. You can share your questions either in the chat or in the agenda document in the Q&A section. We at RSC Asia, we are doing a survey to understand the landscape of people working in software and research within Asian region, or those who live somewhere else but collaborate with people working in Asia. So the survey is open. We are going to extend its date, and also there's a referral where we would be giving 10 GBP to 5 people at random. So there's the survey link. Please feel free to go through it and share your experiences working in either software or data in research. Also, we have a free community membership for anyone to join the community. And by signing up, you would get to know the latest information of the monthly events that we have, which are mostly interactive. And you would also get to um, uh, get our latest blog posts from the events that we have. We would also share YouTube recordings, which would be a nice learning material, and we also curate resource sheets after every event, and we would be sharing our resource sheets with all our community members. So please feel free to join that. Um, yes, and also we would like our community to connect with each other beyond work. So we have community recommendations section in our agenda. Please feel free to share any food, books, music, movie that you'd like with the community. Um, yeah, that is it. And with that, we would start our session for today. And I'd like to invite Mohammed to introduce himself and start sharing his slides.
Great. Thank you so much, Jyoti, for this overview. Let me share my screen. Great. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm very happy to be with you all today. And today we are going to talk about an interesting resource type, research software, and we'll give you an overview about DataCite community, our services, and how we are also connecting research software and code to the scholarly record. But before I start talking about DataCite and who we are, it's really important to understand where DataCite and our community and our services is supported or the ethos of what we do. So in 2021, the UNESCO published the recommendation on open science, and their goal was to help universities and research organizations to implement and achieve open science. So they identified four important pillars to help research communities achieve open science. For the concern of the time, I'm not going to go through each pillar in details, but very briefly, we are talking about open scientific knowledge, for example, using open access as a publication method or way for publishing articles, publishing dissertation and thesis, and all other outputs. Also, we are talking about open research data, OER, open source software, and open code, and open hardware as well. Then the second pillar is around open science infrastructure, and here we have virtual and physical infrastructure, and I will go in some details about this particular pillar in my upcoming slide. And then we have the third and fourth pillars around open engagement and open dialogue also across different knowledge systems. I added a link here also if you want to go through the whole recommendation in more details. Regarding the second pillar, open science infrastructure, so as the UNESCO highlighted in their definition about this pillar, it refers to the digital and physical infrastructure that research organizations will use to disseminate the research outputs and the resources. And this infrastructure should serve the needs of these communities and should help them also to implement open science. What I wanted to highlight is this statement that was published in 2022, the following year after the recommendations was published by UNESCO. And in this document, they were talking mainly about open research infrastructure, the second pillar. But what I wanted to highlight what was mentioned at the first page of the statement. The critical component of open science infrastructures allow unambiguous identification of scientific items. So here they are talking about possible pathways to identify research outputs and resources, and they highlighted that this identification should happen through or using unique persistent identifiers. So they highlighted here the importance of adopting persistent identifiers in research workflows. And we can see also at the first page of this statement, and I added again the link to the UI here if you want to access it and read it. It's available in various languages as well. So they highlighted some examples of unique persistent identifiers, and they mentioned DataCite DOIs or digital object identifiers that the DataCite will provide. They mentioned also ROR, the Research Organization Registry, that unique identifier for research organizations, and they also highlighted ORCID IDs, the unique identifier for academic researchers. So yeah, I thought this would be a good brief introduction before we dive into DataCite and our global community. So in terms of DataCite, so DataCite is a global community of research organizations. All of these research organizations are coming together because we share a common interest. We want to ensure that all research outputs and resources are openly available. But it's not only about being open, it's also about being connected. So these outputs are connected with each other, are connected to the researchers, are connected to the institutions. So all of these efforts can help increasing reusability and can help also in advancing knowledge. And of course, across different disciplines and subject areas and also across different times. So DataCite is a non-profit organization as well, registered in Germany since we started in 2009. So within the DataCite community, currently we have over 1,700 and 58 organizations that are part of the DataCite community. And when we talk about organizations, we have a wide spectrum of organizations that will join DataCite. We have universities, we have national libraries, we have NGOs, we have national level organizations that work under a ministry, but they want to support the Ministry of Higher Education, for example, and they want to support their community. We have research and educational network. We have museums now joining also the DataCite community. So we have a wide spectrum of organizations that will join the DataCite community to benefit from our services. We have members across 70 countries, including members from the Asia Pacific community, of course. And so far, DataCite members collectively have registered over 124 million DOIs. And to give you an idea also about the usage, DataCite DOIs in 2025 alone collected over 1 billion resolutions. So this can give you an idea about how DataCite DOIs are widely used across the research community. So in terms of the services that DataCite members can use once they join the community, so the core service is providing digital object identifier or infrastructure for them to register DOIs. But remember, it's not only about registering a DOI, it's also about the ability to describe the DOI in rich metadata information as well while registering it. And it's also about the diversity in our metadata schema that will allow DataCite members to register DOIs for a wide range of outputs and resources. So for example, today we are talking with this Asia. There are a community around supporting research software, around supporting code as well. So this is a valuable resource output so that these software script, this code should be shared with the community. It should be considered as a resource type, as a research output. It should be acknowledged also in the research assessment. So DataCite gives that infrastructures to members to register a wide range of outputs, as we will see in my upcoming slides. And yeah, so you can register a DOI, you can register a DOI for rich metadata information. You can also register a DOI for a wide range of outputs, but we also made it easy for institutions to register DOI. So DataCite Fabrica, our infrastructure could be integrated in a smooth way within the institution workflows to make it easy for the institutions to register DOIs. And most importantly, what will happen after you register a DOI? So the DOI metadata information about your output will be openly available through different discovery and harvesting services, as we will see more in my upcoming slides around that. So in terms of the software or code in particular in the DataCite registry and its evolutions, so as I highlighted, DataCite support the creation and management of DUIs for a wide range of outputs, over 30 outputs. And as you can see, they range from datasets, physical object, images, model, journal articles, report, but of course, one of them is software. So as you can see within our registry so far, I checked it yesterday, we have like over 864 thousand software entries in our registry Fabrica. But as you can see, we support the creation and management of these UIs for a wide range of research outputs, and we give also the opportunity for software and code to be part of the scholarly record, as you will see on when I talk more about the metadata and how you can connect software code to other outputs. So yeah, I thought to include some slides as well regarding the evolution of this. So as you can see, as of April 2026, these are the top 10 resource types in the DataCite Fabrica, and we can see that software is coming number 9. So it's acknowledged as a research output, and it's connected also with the scholarly record. And within our registry in general, as you can see, we have over 67 million data sets. We have over 16 million physical objects. We have text files, we have images, we have journal articles as well. We have preprints, but you see also software is recognized here as a resource type and connecting it also to the scholarly record of other outputs. So in terms of also the evolution of the software in the DataCite Fabrica, so you can see that the registration for software in our registry Fabrica has been growing since we started in 2017 when it was incorporated as part of our metadata schema, the software as a resource type. So you can see like, and I think this reflect also like an interest from the community to acknowledge software and code as a resource type. So the registration numbers are going up every year. And as you can see, even we are still about to start the second quarter of 2026. And we have like over 87,000 entries as well for software and code that have been registered by our members with DUIs. So this graph in particular, I think, reflect an interest from the research community to acknowledge software and to acknowledge code as a proper resource type, as a proper research output as well. And yeah, as you can see also, these are the top contributing repositories and systems where these software and code are published. So we can see that Zenodo is number 1 with like huge entries and software code are deposited there. It's, as you know, Zenodo is like a global open access repositories. Then we have also Figshare, CodeOcean, and other repositories as well. So this shows that diversity also in these repositories, diversities in the subject areas that they cover. So we have like from generalist repositories to specialized one, for example, about bioconductor or about, for example, the Department of Energy in the United States. So you can see also this diversity, and I believe also this diversity reflect the interest in supporting software and code in general. So in terms of connecting software to the scholarly record, so for that we'll give you an overview also about DataCite metadata schema. So within our current schema, as you can see, at the right side, we have the different resource types that DataCite members can register these resource types with our DOIs. And as you can see, software is highlighted here. In terms of the structure of our metadata schema, so We have mandatory properties. So these are the mandatory properties that you would need to fill in and provide in order to register a DataCite DUI. And then we have a recommended properties as well. And then we have optional properties. In terms of the mandatory ones, so we're talking about the identifier, the DUI itself. Then we have the creator of this output, the creator of this software script, in this case, the title of the script in this case, and the publisher. So the publisher usually will be the institution name or the research organization name. And then we have the publication year when this software or this script, this code was published, and the resource type, in this case, if it will be software or any of these outputs. And then we have also, we give, as I highlighted in my earlier slide, we give the opportunity to the members to describe their outputs in a more rich way through our metadata schema. So we have an additional recommended field if they want to provide. These are like the subject, if they wish to add details about that, any contributor, any additional dates, and any related identifiers. We'll see that more in my upcoming slide. And then we have a description or geo location about this output. We give them also the opportunity to provide optional properties if they want to describe the output in a more detailed way. So if they have any additional information about the language or the size or the format or the funding reference or funding information, they can definitely include that. And there is a link here also for more additional details if you want to dive more about DataCite metadata schema, how it works, and the DataCite metadata working group as well. So as I highlighted, the pathway to connect research software through the scholarly record that our members are currently using is through the connection metadata. So as you know, metadata that represents what we mean by connection metadata. It's the metadata that will represent relationships and connections between various entities. So for example, we could have like a paper cites a data set. So we have the DUI for the article, and then we have the DUI also for the data set. And we give also the opportunity to describe that in a more detailed way, as you will see in my next slide. And we give also the opportunity to acknowledge the researchers or the contributors. So this could happen by including their ORCID ID as well, by using the name identifier property. And we give also the opportunity to acknowledge the organization who produced this. So this could happen through ROR, the Research Organization Registry, so that unique identifier for each research organization. And also, if you want to add acknowledgement around funding and funding information, you can acknowledge the funder as well using the ROR ID. And as I highlighted, we have detailed information on our support site and documentation around connection metadata. So in terms of the connection metadata in the DataCite schema, so as I highlighted, you can use the related identifier probability, and in this case, you can link to research outputs. You can refer to citations, you can refer to a version as well. And the typical identifier that you can use to do that is you can use a DOI or URL or handles. So for example, if you are publishing your software and you want to acknowledge that this software script like is related to a specific data set, is related to a specific journal article, within our metadata schema, you can use this related identifier relation and you can refer to that article, that research data by citing its DOI or its handle. Similarly, as well, if you want to acknowledge, you can use the name identifier as well to build that connections with authors and contributors to give them recognition for that output that they produced and that they created. And for that, you can use, if you are referring to people and researchers, you can use ORCID ID. And if you are referring to organizations, you can use the ROR ID. And then we have also affiliation identifier. So for the affiliation identifier, you can use it to connect to organizations. So if you want to acknowledge, as I highlighted, an organization that contributed to producing this output, you can use the ROR ID. And then we have a publishing identifier as well. If you want to acknowledge a platform or a repository platform, you can do that through the ROR or through the DOI. And for funding references, funding information, to acknowledge the funder itself, you can use also the ROR ID. So in this way, you can connect when you are registering, for example, a software code, you have the opportunity to connect it to various outputs. You have the opportunity to connect it to various contributors. You have the opportunity also to connect it to various organizations, whether you're affiliated organization, whether the funder who supported you to conduct this research, and the software code is one of the outputs of this funded research. So yeah, in terms of the benefits of DataCite DOIs and the advantages also of using our infrastructure. So DOIs in general will play a key role in improving visibility and also boosting the discoverability of research outputs and resources. And we all know that like researchers usually will be very keen when they publish the research. They wanted the research outputs to become more visible and more discoverable as well in several harvesting services. So DOIs will play a key role to achieve these goals. And we all know that when an output is more visible, is more discoverable, that output will gain more chances to receive citations as well. So it's an opportunity as well for your research outputs to gain more citation. And it's also an opportunity to increase the institutional impact of your institution. So for example, when you register a DOI for a software or a code, like a part of the metadata information will be the publisher. So if you are publishing it at your university repository, for example, so the publisher name in this case that will be part of the metadata of that DOI about your code or your software will be your university name. So you are kind of giving a recognition for your institution that your institution has published this research output. And I know that we are talking about the context of research, software, and code, but imagine if you connected all your research outputs that you currently publish at your institutional repository with that. So all your thesis and dissertation, all of your report, all of the conference proceeding, presentations, all of the outputs that your faculty members are producing, you are including it and adopting DOIs in this and adding your institution name as a publisher in the metadata information. So you are definitely going to increase the impact of your institution. And another important point here as well is regarding giving recognition. And this is, I think, from the angle of researchers is very important and institutions as well. But for example, in the context of research software and code, this is like should be considered as an important research output produced during that research journey. We all know that journal articles currently receives a huge attention when it comes to research reporting, but we need also to acknowledge that articles and journal articles is just the final output of a long research process. During that long research process, researchers will be working to produce various outputs. One of them is software code, but there are other outputs as well, like samples, images, models, presentation at a conference about their paper. All of these outputs should be acknowledged, should be visible, should be discoverable with the research community. And one way to acknowledge these outputs is also to assign DOIs for them, because when you assign that global identifier, you are giving more visibility for these outputs. You are giving a possibility also for increasing citations for these outputs to become visible and citable items as well, and giving recognition for the university and the researchers, of course, who produced these outputs. So when you adopt DOIs for software, for dissertation, for thesis, you are kind of giving a recognition for these outputs and the resources. And yeah, one of the key benefits as well is connecting research outputs and resources with the global ecosystem. So when your institutional repository is adopting DOIs, and DOIs have this ability to retrieve their metadata information, because regardless of the output is open or not, the DOI's metadata will always be open. So you are kind of connecting your institutional repository, your system, your publishing platform with the global ecosystem. Because you have a lot of harvesters, as you will see in my upcoming slide, who are retrieving these DOI metadata information, making these outputs more visible and discoverable. So if you want more visibility, uh, you want to boost the global discoverability for your platform, for your repository, integrating data set DOIs will help you also to achieve this goal. And the last point I added, it's about also, as I highlighted earlier, it's about aligning your policies, your work in the framework of open science and open research practices, where all research outputs, not only journal articles, are important. All research outputs are acknowledged and recognized as well. So integrating and supporting DOIs and the persistent identifiers, and more broadly, open science infrastructure in general, like using, for example, open access repositories, publishing through open publishing platform. So not only your, for example, not only your journal articles are published in an open access mode, that would be fantastic, but also the infrastructure that you uses for your journals are an open science infrastructure, an open source infrastructure. So yeah, adopting and aligning your processes and the practices around open science and open research, as we highlighted in the briefly in the introduction slides around the UNESCO recommendation on open science. And in the context of research data, for example, as you know, adopting DOIs and rich metadata information will make your research data align more and more with the FAIR principles. So in terms of connecting also and finding that outputs and connecting, I wanted to refer briefly to the DataCite Commons. So DataCite Commons is an open platform developed by DataCite, and within DataCite Commons, what we are doing is we are displaying information about the DOI's metadata that DataCite members have registered. If you remember earlier, I said we have over 124 million DOIs registered by DataCite members, which is great. So all of these DOIs metadata record will be openly available in Commons for all the community, all the researchers to access and explore, including, of course, software. So all the 800,000 software entries, you can explore them in Commons. And we have also connected with some DOIs from Crossref, in particular DOIs who cited research data sets. Within Commons as well, we have an integration with ORCID API. So by doing that integration in Commons, we are able to display information about the contributors and the creators of these outputs. We have an integration with ROR. So that integration with ROR as well is giving us the opportunity to display information about organizations with ROR IDs. And we have integration with some repositories, registries such as the RE3 data registry for data repositories. I also wanted to highlight briefly the bit graph, where we are trying to track and build the connections between these different entities across the research infrastructure in general. So here we have, for example, various outputs like publication, data sets, software here. So these are research outputs or object produced while conducting the research process. And we have also different entities in the research ecosystem, such as authors or creators or persons will be producing these outputs. And we have also organizations that these authors are working at. And we have also funders. So these are the organizations, the institutions will fund these activities. So using persistent identifiers or bids in general. So here we are talking about more broadly, not only about DataCite DOIs, but about adopting persistent identifiers in general. As we highlighted, we have ORCID IDs, we have DOIs for research outputs, we have ROR IDs, whether for organization itself or the funder. So using or adopting these bids in general will help us to have that graph, to build that connections between all of these entities. Like we can track the authors and all of their outputs. Remember, not only their journal article or the publications output, but software also could be tracked, could be acknowledged, data sets as well. We have also the funder. So for example, you can track if ROR is part of your metadata information and the outputs are supported with DOIs, you will give the opportunity to track also the various research outputs and the resources that your grant or your award has achieved. And then you as an organization as well, as a university, for example, if you are maintaining an open access repository, adopting ROR in your workflows, adopting DOIs for your research outputs, not only the journal articles, adopting ORCID IDs as well. So this will help you to connect all of these entities together. So going back again to research software and code. So this is some screenshots from Commons and this one from Zenodo, for example. And we can see that this is an example of a software script published in Zenodo, received a DOI. So you can see the DOIs really play a key role in boosting and enhancing the visibility and giving acknowledgement for this as a research output. This is again another opportunity for adopting bids and giving the opportunity to acknowledge researchers as well. So this is another example for a software script uploaded to a repository, and you can get the opportunity within Commons, for example, to claim it to your ORCID record, to connect it with your ORCID record as a contributor if you are the contributor who created this. So this is again giving acknowledgement to researchers, to academics who produced this software or this script. Another importance as well here is giving also the opportunity to track the impact of that research software, of that code. So within Commons, you can see how many citations, for example, this software has received so far, and you can display this citation information in your repository as well. So it's giving you an infrastructure, a path to track also the impact of your software, of your code, of your dissertation, of your thesis. So it gives you the opportunity in general to track the impact, as we highlighted when we were talking about the benefits of adopting DataCite DOIs. And another important point as well is, as we highlighted when we were talking about DataCite metadata schema, is giving the opportunity to build these connections. So if the software, the research software that you are publishing is related to a journal article, is related to a data set, is related to a text or a report, within our metadata schema, you can build that connection. So this is an example for a software script published in Zenodo, and it's connected or is related to other two articles as well. So you can build these connections as well between the software or the code and other research outputs and resources. So all the slides will be shared with you if you want to access all of these links and explore them. So yeah, very briefly, as I also highlighted, like one of the key benefits of adopting DOI is the ability to boost visibility and discoverability. So DataCite DOI's metadata will be harvested by several harvesters and services like those that you can see on this screen, like OpenAlex, for example. So your DOI metadata will become visible and discoverable in these databases, and this will help boost the visibility and discoverability for your outputs. And yeah, finally, as I highlighted, DataCite is a global community of research organizations. We are sustained, we are driven by our community of members who join the association. So we have mainly two paths for organizations to join our community. The first one is through direct membership. So in this case, for example, if a university or a research organization wish to join DataCite, you will get the opportunity as a direct member to connect the different systems, different repositories that the university or the institution is maintaining. So let's assume maybe they have a general repository where they are publishing software, dissertations, reports, and maybe they have also a specialized data repository, for example, to disseminate research data sets. If they have another ETDs repository maybe, or a publishing platform to publish academic journals. So they can connect all of these different systems and repositories with DataCite direct membership and register DOIs for these outputs. We have also another path for interested organization, whether to join an existing consortia as a consortium organization, or you can establish a consortia in your country or in your region. And there are several advantages for starting a consortium. So this is like ensuring long-term accessibility, because it's kind of a sustainable solution as well. It reduces the financial barriers as well when you join a consortium, and reducing financial barriers will ensure that, or will help in increasing adoption rates, enhancing visibility also on a national level, enhancing national infrastructure on a national or regional level based on the type of your consortium. And you are kind of, as we highlighted earlier, putting open science in action, like showing a real world example of adopting open science and putting open science in practice. And as I highlighted, DataCite is a community of research organizations. So we have a wide spectrum of organizations who could benefit from this, talking about universities or libraries or research centers and museums. And yeah, if you are interested to know more, I wanted to invite you to DataCite Membership Essentials webinar. It's happening on 7th of May at 10 UTC or 16 UTC. So we have two different editions of this webinar to support different time zones. And this is the registration link if you wish to attend as well. And yeah, if you want to learn more about DataCite and stay involved with us, we encourage you to check out our newsletter. It's a monthly newsletter, and you can subscribe to it. And we share a lot of information about the development that is happening at DataCite, recent blogs, events where you can connect with the DataCite team as well. We have DataCite Connect happening in Singapore for the Asian community as well. This could be of interest to them. Yeah, so this is an opportunity also to know about our upcoming events. And if you wish also to know more about like our services and platform like Commons or Fabrica or our metadata schema, you can definitely explore that there. So yeah, again, thank you so much for listening, and thanks to REST Asia for giving us this opportunity to speak to you today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mohammed. This has been an excellent talk and so much to learn about how you can put open science in action. So there are a number of questions on the Google Doc. So I'm going to put together some of the questions, and then we'll try to see how much we can cover with the time that we have left. So one of the first questions is, as an individual researcher, how can someone use DataCite? For example, if the person is not a member of DataCite or their organization is not yet a member of DataCite, can they still use it? And if there is like a practical, for example, how can someone submit like a research paper? to DataCite. So yeah, if you could show some practical example for an individual.
Yeah, so this is a good question. So first of all, if you are a researcher affiliated with an organization and your organization currently, for example, runs a repository and that repository like is not including or adopting DUIs, maybe it's a good time to reach out to your library or research office, whatever is managing the repository, and maybe you share our details with them to have a conversation with them. So this could be one path. But definitely you can benefit from data side DUIs and our infrastructure. So as I highlighted, the first one could be Commons. So Commons, you can, as I highlighted, it's a platform open for everyone to explore. So within Commons, we are like displaying information about all the DOI's metadata registered by DataCite members as well. So it has millions of DOI's metadata information that you can explore. It has a diversity also in the outputs as well, so you can explore it and you can explore all the outputs there. So this is could be one possible path to benefit from DataCite. And if your institution, for example, is not currently a member, and as I highlighted, you could refer them to us. But for example, if you have an output, you could use any of the open access repositories that are DataCite members. I saw a question in the chat about Zenodo and DataCite and what is the difference. So Zenodo is an open access repository. So this is an open access repository and Zenodo is a DataCite member. So Zenodo is a member of the DataCite community and they use DataCite DOIs and they give you as a researcher the opportunity, as you know, when you go there, you can deposit your output. They support a wide range of outputs and the resources as well, and you will get a free of a charge DOI there. So you could use, as I highlighted, one of these open access repositories like Zenodo that are members of the DataCite community, and you can benefit from the ability to receive and assign DOIs for your output there. So this is could be about possible paths to benefit from DataCite.
Okay, that's great to know. Yeah, I guess there was like a lot of conversation around the difference between Zenodo and DataCite, so I think that is quite helpful to learn that you can deposit stuff to Zenodo as it's a member of DataCite and get a DOI from there if your organization is not yet a member. There is one another related question. So this question says, is there a way to link GitHub files or links? Because I believe this is coming more from a software side. So is there a way to link GitHub files in the DataCite infrastructure?
Yeah, so if you are a DataCite member and you're registering a DOI, as I highlighted in this part, let me go back to this slide. Yeah, so in the related identifier part as well, you can link to a URL. So if you have the URL for that GitHub entry, you can definitely link to it as well. So it will help you also to build that connection with your software code. So this is possible.
All right, thank you. Another one, it's about the membership. So, does each type of organization need to be a paid member, or are there any incentives for new communities that you would like to become a member of DataCite?
Yeah, so as I highlighted, so like we are a membership organization and we are sustained by our community of members who joins the association. So like the primary route is through the options or the pathways that I highlighted. But if your institution is not a member and like we have different paths as well, like we have different steering groups that maybe you could express your interest if you are specialized in any of their subject areas that they cover. Our events, for example, we hold various community events, whether in person or online, and they are open for everyone. So if you want, for example, we have a quarter open hours. As I highlighted, we have several webinars, so several community events So if you are around and you would like to attend, you are more than welcome to know more about these topics and to connect, to interact, to ask questions, to hear more about us. So there are different paths for you also to engage with the broader community, besides also being a member.
Yeah, thanks. Those are definitely, I'm going to subscribe to the newsletter and then look out for all the events that are upcoming. There is one other question about, so this says that they noticed the top 10% of the type of outputs that were submitted include data. So data is like the top 10% of the output type. Is it because DataCite started with accepting data submissions at first? So is data submission the most dominant one that gets recorded? So yeah.
This is a fantastic question. So, yeah, I think so. So this goes back to our history when we started in 2009. DataCite started as an initiative to encourage citations for research data and the data sets. That's why, for example, you see the word data in our name, DataCite. So this is how we started as an initiative to encourage organizations and the researchers to register DOIs for research data. So this is how we started. But as you can see, since 2009, we have grown a lot since then. So currently we support over 30 outputs. We consider ourselves as a home for research organizations and a home where all of these research organizations can register all their outputs and the resources and connect these outputs and the resources with the ultimate goal to connect all of these outputs to the scholarly record. So the example of software is a very good example of that. So as you saw in 2017, we introduced this as a new resource type, giving the opportunity to our members to acknowledge this as a research output and to give them the opportunity to register DOIs for software. I can give you another example as well. Maybe you are interested why you only have four presentations with DOIs and 67 million data sets, for example. So this resource type was just added, I think, a few days or like 1 week or 2 weeks back to our metadata schema. So this is a new resource type called the presentation. So it can refer to all your presentations that your faculty members will deliver at a conference, at a symposium. So you acknowledge this as well as an output. It took some time from them to produce this, to work on this, to deliver this presentation. So you are giving acknowledgement and attribution to this output as well. And we have, as I said, we just added it very recently. That's why you see only four DOIs have been registered in Fabrica with the resource type presentation because we just added it very recently. So because we are a community-driven organization, we listen to the feedback of our communities. We always ask them about the new resource types that they want to see in our schema, and then there is a process, I think, for that. Like there is a metadata working group. We put a proposal, we consult our community, and then at the end, it will be developed in our metadata schema, programmed, and it will appear as a resource types, giving the opportunity for members to register DOIs for presentation in this case. So yeah, we started in 2009 as a dataset initiative to register DOIs for research data, but DataCite has grown a lot since then, as you can see.
Yeah, thank you for that. I'll also request if anybody in the audience has any questions, it's a good chance to put it in the Zoom chat. We don't have a lot of time left, but maybe we can cover one or two questions. Uh, while you do that, I'll ask Mohammed another question from the Google Doc. So, if someone wants to view or download any of the scholarly records that somebody else has uploaded to DataCite, is it possible to do so? Or does it need a paid subscription, or can people view others' work for free?
Yeah, this is a good question. So as I highlighted, the best path for you in this case as a researcher will be go to Commons here. And within Commons, as I highlighted, you get the opportunity to see the 124 million DOIs, metadata records about all of these outputs that our members have registered, and it's openly accessible. You can see all of these DOIs metadata. But because remember, as I highlighted, the DOI's metadata will always remain open, regardless of the output itself is closed or open access. And then when you land on an output, for example, what you will see, you will get the opportunity based on the output itself. You will see the metadata information about the output, but based on the output itself, if it's open, you can access it. If it's not open, you will not be able to access it. So let me show you here like a practical example. So this is a climate change institute, and this is a data set. So this is a data set. So this is what you will get the opportunity to see for each record. You will see the title. These are the metadata information that this organization provided DataCite with during the registration process for this DOI, for this data set. So you can see the creators, you can see the contributions, you can see also information on the registration, and you can see where it's published. So it's published at Harvard Dataverse. And if you want to access it, you click on the DOI, and the UI link will lead you or will resolve to the landing page at the institution website. So based on the institutional policy, if it's open access, you will be able to access the data. If it's closed access, maybe there will be some additional requirement for you to access the data. But within Commons, you can access all of these metadata information, and it's available for everyone. There is no need to pay any fees or any subscription to access that. You can see the connections, you can see the related work as well. If there is an article or another data set that cited this research data set as well. So this is the output, this is the landing page, and it seems, yeah, so this is the data set itself published in Harvard Dataverse, and this is the information, and this is the download link if you want to access it and download it. So the metadata information about all of these record will always be openly available in a free way for researchers to access it. And when you click on the DUI, you will be able to be redirected to the institution website, and based on the institutional policy, you will be able to access it or not.
Yeah, that's brilliant, and it's very useful to know that you can access stuff that's already uploaded to DataCite. Um, just to ask you a question, so because you mentioned about presentation, so the presentation that you gave today, do you think you will also upload it to DataCite, like, or is it already uploaded? The
This is a
slides
good
that you
question.
presented?
Because yeah, I think I assigned a DUI to it before the. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's available now in my ORCID record because I assigned the DOIs for it. So this is Zenodo, and this is DataCite Community Hub in Zenodo. So this is my presentation that I did today. I deposited in Zenodo Open Access Repository. I added some description about it. Uploaded the slides if you wanted to check it. And then, yeah, Zenodo automatically, because Zenodo is a DataCite member, Zenodo assigned this DOI for my presentation. But because what I did is I connected my ORCID ID and my ROR ID to acknowledge my organization as well. So this is my name, this is my ORCID ID. If we click here, you can verify that this is me, Muhammad, the community specialist who works at DataCite. So ORCID is a fantastic way to verify my information, and imagine about the complexity of the names and similar names that researchers have as well. And you can also verify like which data site is he claiming to work at. So you can verify this by clicking on my ORCID, my ROR ID for that organization. So this is DataCite, the nonprofit organization that is based in or registered in Hanover, Germany. And this is the official website for DataCite
Oh, sorry,
that
Mohammed.
provides the UIs. Yeah, so you can see all of this information. And very briefly, maybe I can show you how it would look like also in my ORCID record.
Yeah.
So
Sorry,
yeah, so this
I
is
think people, I cannot see your slides. Are you still sharing your slides?
I'm sh- Let me share.
Yeah, sorry. I think we missed the part where you were explaining how you have connected everything.
Okay, let me share it again. So yeah, again, this is Zenodo. So this is an example of an open access repository. Zenodo is a DataCite member. So what I did in this case, I went to Zenodo before the webinar today or the community call today, deposited my slides. I also use different bids. I have my own ORCID ID and DataCite has its ROR ID. So I added these information as part of the metadata as well while registering this DOI for my presentation. So yeah, Zenodo, my presentation is openly available. Zenodo gave me the opportunity to register DUIs as well. So this is a DataCite DUI I obtained through Zenodo. And in this case, if you wish to verify me that this is Muhammad Mustafa who works at DataCite, you can click on my ORCID ID to verify that. So this is my ORCID ID and you can verify that this is Muhammad Mustafa who works at DataCite, and imagine this is very useful in the complexity of names and similar names that researchers have. And then if you want also to verify the organization, you can also do that. You see this ROR icon close to my affiliation DataCite to verify which DataCite. So this is DataCite, the non-profit organization that is registered in Germany, and this is the official DataCite website. So yeah, so this is like an example of or a demo of adopting bids in research workflows. And if you go to my ORCID record now, you can see that this presentation is listed within my ORCID record as well. So as one of my outputs, because it has a DOI, it's mentioned, Zenodo is mentioned here as a presentation, and this is the DOI. So again, yeah, when we were talking about giving acknowledgement to research software and code, and more broadly also to all outputs like the thesis and dissertation, and how bids in general and DataCite DOIs will play a key role in that. So I hope this demo can also give you an example, like if you adopted DOIs for your institutional repository, assigning DOIs for all your thesis, dissertation, reports, conference presentations, and all of these outputs are published with the DOIs. You add the ROR ID of your institution as the publisher. You add the ORCID IDs of your faculty members who published these outputs. So you are kind of connecting the research infrastructure within your institution.
Oh, that's a very useful example. Yeah, I think, and if what happens if people change institutes, can they still keep a record? For example, I saw like on ORCID you have connected it to DataCite. So if somebody changes institute, can they still keep a track record of what they have done in the past?
Yeah, the metadata information for that record itself will always be affiliated to myself as a person and DataCite as an organization. And if a person changes university or a position in the future, the new entries will be affiliated to the new organization as well. But he will always have this unique 14-digit number. So all of his outputs, regardless of the institution name, will always be affiliated to this single ORCID ID.
Okay, thank you so much, Mohammed. This has been an excellent session and so many things to learn from. And definitely, I hope people are inspired to and encouraged to use DataCite, use DOIs, have their ORCID updated. And yeah, we have already overrun in the session. I'm glad that people are still on the call. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. But I think we will be concluding now. Um, I think we'll also be sharing a recording of the session after we have edited and have permissions from Mohammed and every one of you to share. And there will be a blog post coming out which will summarize the learnings from this session. So please keep an eye on our LinkedIn. Jyoti, I think that's where you're going to put
Yep.
it. And
Yep.
yeah, if you have any feedback, do write to us. You have our email address. If you have any suggestions of the kind of topics that we should be covering in our webinars, please let us know via our email address. And next month, the community meetup is about how libraries can support research software. So, what kind of developments are possible when we collaborate with librarians, and what are their views on how research software could make research even better. So, I'm not sure, Jyoti, are there any other things that you wanted to mention because we are already overrunning? There is a feedback form for this session, and yeah, please feel free to fill that. And it would be very helpful to know what you think of these sessions and how we can improve or what kind of topics we can bring forward. Yeah, and the next community call is on the 12th of May. Yeah, Jyoti.
Yeah, so that was all. Thank you very much for staying for the course, and thank you, Mohammed. It was a really interesting and informative session. And before we close, I'd like to share about the RSC Asia survey that we are doing to gather community insights about how to connect the community with each other. And also, there's a referral with a price of 10 GBP for that. So we really look forward to hear your experiences about being a researcher in the Asian region. Yeah, that was all. Thank you very much for staying a bit longer. Yeah, we that's the end of the call for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Basim. Thanks for joining. Um, Dalal, did you
Yeah.
have any other questions to talk about? See, you're still on the call. Okay, if you do have any questions, feel free to write to us on our email address. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us today, and yeah, hope to see you in the next sessions. Yeah, I'll drop off now. Thank you, everyone.